Good afternoon, it's Sal Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. How you all doing? I hope you're all doing fine this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. The week is flying by. It's going very, very quickly, guys. And you know what's going quickly? This season. This season. It couldn't go quick enough, should I say. We need a new season to start and we need a new lease of life, don't we? We can't wait till the new season starts. But it is International Week. So, you know what? We're going to take it easy a little bit. I think it's good we take it easy sometimes. I think we just need to relax. And not be so wound up all the time, of course, guys. That is what, it gets us a bit blood pressures and all that, stress. No, we don't want none of that, do we, at the end of the day, guys? But you know what? I'm going to bring in some news about Manchester United, of course. And firstly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And please don't forget to smash a like on the video if you guys can do that for me. That'd be absolutely beautiful, mate. Beautiful. Thank you so much, guys, for your support as ever, of course, guys. So, but firstly, I'm going to jump into the situation with Anthony. Now, Anthony and Real Betis. Real Betis do not want to purchase Anthony. They want to have Anthony on another season-long loan. But this time, they want to pay the wages in full. Guys, what do you make of that? Now, look, you know what? I'm going to mention a number of players here, and a number of players may not be at Manchester United for whatever reason there is. They may not be at Manchester United next season, and we have to face reality that even some players that we like won't be at Manchester United next season. Jadon Sancho, of course, who is popular, God only knows why, with so many Manchester United fans, won't be at the club next season by the looks of it. Ruben Amorim does not want him at the club. Ineos do not want him at the club. So, you know what? That is a difficult one, and that's a tricky one, which I'll get into in a little bit. But Anthony. Now, look, I understand that Real Betis want Anthony. I understand that they rate Anthony. He has done very well for Real Betis. He fits them to a T. It's his level at the end of the day. But what I would say is that it is either a full sell or nothing. You want the player, buy the player. We're not here for this niceties anymore. In the past, when we used to loan players out non-stop until their contract runs out, and then they go on a free. Pay up or be quiet. In my opinion, they need to pay up. If they want the player, if they admire the player, they need to pay up. This is the same situation which happened with Jadon Sancho, of course, with Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund were treating Jadon Sancho like their long-lost family member. But as soon as it come to pulling up the peas, they did not come. They fall short. They fall short. And you know what? That is typical, isn't it? Now, we got to move away from this type of, team that, ain't got money. They haven't got money. So Real Betis haven't got money. Real Betis is saying, oh, you know what? We'll pay his full wages. What does paying his full wages do for us? That is the biggest question of the day, of course. What does the wages do? If you pay the wages, where's our transfer funds for the summer? We need you to buy Anthony. If you don't want to buy Anthony, we will find another buyer. We don't want any more these niceties and, oh, yeah, you can have him another year when his contract runs out. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Let's see who is online. Of course, big up Triple M. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're good. Now, look, you know what? There's going to be a number of players that will leave the football club. I think we're going to literally break some records. I actually think we're going to break some records this summer. I think, we got Lindelof is going to leave, right? Okay, so, guys, Lindelof has not been offered a new contract, so he will most likely leave the football club. Eriksen has not been offered a new contract, so he will leave the football club. He was speaking yesterday about his time at Manchester United, saying he's enjoyed his time at Man United, but he understands the situation and he knows that, basically he's not, he's surplus to requirements and he will leave the football club, of course. There are also players that will be like, are they going to leave? Are they, is it going to be difficult to get rid of them? There's all those sort of players as well. Luke Shaw, for example, going to be extremely difficult. You're going to need a couple of degrees to get rid of Luke Shaw, to be honest with you, because Luke Shaw, you know what, injury prone, not played enough football, literally missed about 500 games since he's been at Man United is ridiculous at the end of the day. And, what we would say is that, if we can get someone to loan him, pay his wages, that'll be good, because I don't think anyone's going to risk paying money for Luke Shaw if, he's injured all the time, to be honest with you. As much as, we need to get rid of Luke Shaw, it's going to be extremely difficult in conclusion about Luke Shaw, of course, guys, in regards to Luke Shaw. Then there are players like Tyro Malacia. Now, I would say that Tyro Malacia will be sold. I think Man United have set their sights on just Dorgu and Diego Leon as the left wing back position. So I think that Tyro Malacia will be out of the club. So that is 3 players so far that I've mentioned that will be out the football club. Okay. Whatever happens with Tyro Malacia, how much we'll get from it won't be much. It won't be much. It'd be one of those very, very cheap deals that we used to do under Murto and Woodward and things like that, of course, guys. So he will be a snip for everyone buys him. He's a good player. Look, Tyro Malacia is a decent player. You know what I mean? He's not a rubbish player. He's a good player for a mid-table team, for, you know, a team in Italy, a team in Spain. He'll be a good player for them. And if we can get 5 to 10 million for Tyro Malacia, I think we'll be winning. I think that would be an absolute brilliant thing, of course, guys. Absolutely. And to be honest with you, he needs to go. So that is 3 players that are leaving the football club already. In regards to Diego Dalot. Diego Dalot, for me, you know what, showed me what a good player he was in his first few years at Man United, in particular last season when he did show up for Eric Ten Hag, apart from that miss, as we all know about. But then you can argue that, well, you know what, Ten Hag's system suited Diego Dalot a lot better, you know, than what Ruben Amorim's system does. Because Ten Hag played more of a fullback system, didn't he? So you didn't need to play as a sort of an inverted winger, so to speak. Diego Dalot, I would cash in on Diego Dalot. I'm sorry, guys. I know this sounds controversial, but I would cash in on Diego Dalot. Because we could probably get a decent amount of money for that player. We probably could get about 20, 25 million for Diego Dalot, you know, if not more, especially if the likes of, it is quoted, is Real Madrid and Bayern Munich are after that player. So that obviously, like, you know, we can wheel and deal with them and probably can do a swap deal and stuff like that. These things are a possibility as well, that, you know what, if we, like, okay, Real Madrid, you want Diego Dalot, maybe give us Gula and a bit of money. We'll give you a bit of money. You give us Gula and that would be great. Something like that. Do you know what I mean? That can always be a possibility as well in regards to swap deals and things like that. Losing leverage deals and stuff like that and using money towards like one player, give you one player, give you a bit of cash, and we'll see what happens in regards to that. We all know that Lindelof is leaving. Lindelof won't be offered a new contract, so he won't be playing for Manchester United next season. So that is Lindelof, and that is obviously Evans, who won't play for the football club. So that is, for me now, 5 players right there. And you know what? I just feel like some players will stay. In my opinion, Diego Dalot will stay at Man United. I know that I said we should sell him. I just feel like he will stay because we're not going to get rid of so many players. Big up, Danny B. What's going on? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, pal. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're good. You know what? So I genuinely believe that we could have cashed in on Diego Dalot. I think we could have got some money from him. 20, 25 million would have been nice. You know, that would have been great. And I would have cashed in on him. But the problem we're having is that we're not got the cash to bring in players. So this is the problem that we're having, of course. So we can't sell every single player. We're going to lose Lindelof. We're going to lose Evans in defense. We're going to lose Malacia. We won't have Luke Shaw. Hopefully not anyway. So that is 4 players so far that have gone from the team that I've said just now. When we move into midfield, it's Casemiro. Now, Casemiro, I mean, it's a generational central midfielder, defensive midfielder that has won 5 Champions Leagues. You know, I got a huge amount of respect for Casemiro, a massive amount of respect for Casemiro, of course. But I just feel like his legs are gone. I feel like his legs are gone. He can play the odd game here and there, half a game here, 60 minutes there. But I just feel like his legs have gone. I feel like he's played a lot of football in his career. And I feel like if we can try and offload Casemiro to Saudi Arabia, I think that would be good for him. It'd be good for his family. And you know what? He can relax over there and play a less competitive football, of course, guys. So he's another one that I would like to get rid of. I hope we can get rid of him. Not rid. Rid is a bad word. We can, you know, part ways with Casemiro, of course. And I think that will be, you know, good for us and good for him. You know, and we probably can get some money for Casemiro as well. This is the thing. You know, so if we're thinking about the football club, I would say on the 5th signing, the 5th outgoing will be Casemiro, of course, guys. It will be Casemiro for me. So that is 5 so far I've mentioned off the cuff. 5 players I've mentioned off the cuff right now. Absolutely. Danny, I'd sell Dalot too, Sal. Yeah, I mean, it's money, isn't it, Danny? It's money. You know, I mean, let's be quite honest with ourselves. Danny, he's just not the player that we need. I mean, I got a lot of respect for him. I like him. He looks like a great person, a good personality, someone good to have around the dressing room. But I just don't think he's good enough. If we have aspirations to reach a certain level, I just don't think Dalot is good enough. Dalot on the positional sense, on an attacking side, even a defensive side, I just don't think he has what it takes to be to go to that next level. And if we can get 20, 25 million for Diogo Dalot, that can go somewhere, useful for Manchester United, of course. And you know what? This is what we need to do. We need to think about what Ruben Amorim wants. Of course, Ruben Amorim does like Diogo Dalot. Well, he acts like he has Diogo Dalot, but is his love affair with Diogo Dalot more to do with the fact that he's Portuguese than the fact that he is a great player? I mean, what I would throw in Diogo Dalot's favour is that Diogo Dalot is always ready and available. And as I've always said, availability is the best form of ability. And maybe he's always available. And maybe it's the fact that we don't have anyone else on that right wing back position. Danny, I would play Mantato. I agree. Mantato's an absolute baller at the moment. Hate to use that word, of course. I use that word sometimes, and people go, "No, don't use that word, baller. Why are you using that word, baller?" I think he's an absolutely great player, in my opinion. Mantato, absolutely fantastic player. So is Camerson. There's a few there that are coming up. Murray, of course. Harry Amas. These players are good. I do think that Harry Amas may go on loan in the summer. He may go on loan in the summer, of course. So when we think about Anthony, I started off with Anthony. Anthony needs to leave the football club or nothing. We are not loaning out Anthony again. Batiste can do one at the end of the day. We're done with this type of thing. We've had this type of thing for many years, and we're done with this type of thing. In regards to Marcus Rashford has already burnt the bridge with Ruben Amorim. Right, I tell you stories about Marcus Rashford in regards to Marcus Rashford, substance abuse, going home from training with stomach cramps, things like that. Ruben Amorim sending him home with stomach cramps and things like that. You heard it here, guys. To be honest with you, I think that ship has sailed, and I don't think Rashford is welcome back at the football club. Just like Jadon Sancho is not welcome back at the football club. Jadon Sancho put this club in disrepute. You know what? He's had many chances, and he needs to go. And he's been told that he has to leave the football club. Simple as that. Play Chido Obi more as a striker. I hope so. Triple M is still very young, of course. Very raw talent, Chido. And what we've seen so far, I would like to see him start games more. I would do that. It all depends on who we sign in the summer, doesn't it? I've been talking about how we need to sign an experienced striker in the summer because we need goals. And it will be great for a player like Chido Obi to have an experienced player next to him to score some goals. It would be great to have that type of player next to him because at the moment we don't really have anyone who can be used as an inspiration, if you know what I mean. We don't have anyone like that, who you can turn around to and say, look, you know what, you scored 50 goals, 100 goals for Man United. I'm going to look at you. And the only people they can look around, these players in this squad, the only players they can look around to are like Bruno, Casemiro, probably that type of player, that ilk of player. Other than that, there's not really anyone in this squad you would look at and say, you've been there, seen it, done it, worn the T-shirt. And that is the biggest problem that we have at the moment. You could argue that Bruno still hasn't really done it in regards to done it. You know what I mean? In regards to Champions Leagues and that. But you know what? He is the most kind of inspirational figure in that Manchester United team, regardless of how many times he throws his arms around and stuff. When he's on fire, he's on fire. And Casemiro as well, but Casemiro looks like he's on his sunbed at the moment. He looks like he's done with top flight football. He loves it at Man United. He loves Manchester apparently. But you know what he would do? I would do if I was on 300 grand a week. You know what I mean? To play every now and then. It's incredible. Danny, Experienced striker or Cheetah as a backup, Rasmus. I agree. And I think, Danny, you can't have too many strikers. I mean, you need at least 4 strikers, in my opinion. 3 or 4. 3 or 4. In this system, you need 3 or 4 strikers who can rotate, you know, because there are a lot of games in the Premier League. There's a lot of games in the Europa League, Champions League, and FA Cup, League Cup. There's always going to be opportunities for these players to play, you know. And I think about, obviously, when under Sir Alex, we always had a number of strikers. There is never too many strikers. Football is won on goals. You know, when something else doesn't work, like even Alex Ferguson, when he signed Louis Saha. You remember Louis Saha from Fulham? We signed Louis Saha. Even Alex Ferguson signed players like that because it adds something different, something unique. For example, if Man United went out right now and bought Mateta, you know, it's something different. Like, for example, the game is 0-0, right? Or you're losing 1-0 and it's 60 minutes. You can throw in a Matata, someone like that, into the game. You know what I mean? Someone like that, and you think, yeah. Even a Jared Bowen, someone like that, you could just throw them on. You know what I mean? And hope they get a goal. You know, you can't have enough strikers. At the moment, we got Xerxes, we got Chido, and we got Rasmus at the moment. Chido's very young. We can't rely on him too much, although I think he's going to be an absolute baller. Rasmus, I hope that with that goal, of course, against Leicester City, I hope that he can go on a rich vein of form now. I hope he can carry that on, in my opinion. I really hope so. Triple M. We need to win the Europa League to get in the players in. I think it's very important, Triple M. It cannot be underestimated how important the Europa League is this season. I firmly believe if Man United get past Lyon, I think Man United can do it. Although we will likely play Athletic Bilbao in the semi-final, which we know will be a much more trickier game than any game we played in the Europa League this season, given the fact that Athletic Bilbao do have some quality players. We have quality players as well, but they have obviously Nico Williams and obviously players of that ilk. We have our own players as well, you know what I mean? So they should fear us as well. But it's just the fact that Athletic Bilbao have a uniqueness around them. They have a uniqueness that they only play Basque players. So this is very interesting because they are a unique football club. They're the only club in the world who only play players from their area, which is crazy. You know what I mean? They only have Basque players. That is still to this day, I believe. So, you know, they are a tricky team. They're a difficult team to face. And, you know, I would worry about them. But get through Lyon. I think the chips will be up. Our morale will be up. And then we get to the final. And I think under Ruben Amorim, we get to that final. We're winning that final, guys. I personally believe it's going to be Man United against Eintracht Frankfurt in the final of the Europa League. That's what I think. I think Eintracht Frankfurt will knock out Spurs. I think they will. And I think there'll be Man United against Eintracht Frankfurt in this Europa League final. Wouldn't that be a great game? Of course, absolutely. We shouldn't be scared of no one because we're Man United. Absolutely not. It's not about being scared. It's about being wary and cautious and respectful of our opposition. And I think that Athletic Bilbao will pose the biggest threat to us going forward. I think Man United will beat Lyon. Sorry, guys, but I think Man United will beat Lyon comfortably. I think they'll beat them comfortably. I think we'll beat them 2-3-1 up. I think we'll beat them 2-0 away. I think we'll beat Lyon. I do. I think we will. I don't think there's any... We should fear the 5th best team in France. I think Man United will beat Lyon, and I think we'll go on to play Athletic Bilbao. That's how I feel. Either Athletic Bilbao or Lazio. Lazio and Athletic Bilbao, they're like this, isn't it? Like that. So they're both... Obviously, you're in the semi-final of a competition. It's going to be a tough game regardless who you play. But obviously... they will be fearing us more than we fear them. And that's how it should be because we are Manchester United. I know we say that a lot. We are Manchester United and, you know, they should fear us, to be honest with you, because we've been there, seen it, done it, won the T-shirt, bought the mug. That is who we are. We're Manchester United. We won European competitions. Of course. Did you check out Arden Jasori CDM? Yes, I did, brother. Yes, I did. A very, very good player, of course. Arden Jasori, of course, is a very, very good player. Of course, guys. And thank you for pointing me in the direction of him because I like to get to know different. I haven't heard much about him. Before I checked him out, I haven't heard much about him, to be honest with you, at the end of the day. And to be honest with you, he is 22, right? He's not 19. He's not 18. He is 22. But that is still young in relative terms, okay? That's relative. I mean, what I like about him is that, you know, he plays for Switzerland. He is, Switzerland are building up now. They're starting to get some great players, isn't it? At the end of the day, plays for Club Brugge, and contract expires in 2029. But the great and attractive thing about him, he's got 2 caps for Switzerland. The attractive thing about Arden Jassiri is that he is market value 11 million euros. How much is he going to be? 20 with a Man United tax, 20 million euros. Those are the type of players that we should be looking at. And you're absolutely spot on, my friend. Well played. Because at the end of the day, these are the type of players that, you know what, early, they're internationals. Now, you have to have something about you if you want to play for, your national team. Switzerland are no mugs at the end of the day. Switzerland are no mugs. And the good thing about this player, Jassiri, is that he can play defensive midfielder. He can play midfield as well. And also, with push come to shove, he's a left footer. He can play on the left wing back position, which is a good thing as well. Do you know what I mean? So, he's a versatile player. It's something that we should be looking at. And I think we are looking at things like that. Big up, Ava. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Big up yourself. Yeah, perfect. That we need. He has it all set. Absolutely. Perfect what we need. Absolutely, mate. And this is the type of signing that we need to sign, because you know what? You can get 20 million for this player. For 40 million, you can buy 2 of these players. It just makes a lot more sense for Man United. We're unfortunately not in the position to be looking at these big, huge superstars. Of course we can. We can. If we sell Anthony, if we sell Rashford, we can reinvest that in the likes of Nico Williams, for example, someone like that. Do you know what I mean? I know it is a stretch, but we could do that. Plus, bring in the 20 million players here, 15 million players here, of course, guys. So there's a lot of, obviously, areas to move around. Do you know what I mean? A bit like Chris Rigg, I was talking about the Sunderland player earlier on, of course, guys. There is room to move around, of course. Tyler Dibbling is another one, of course, that Man United are interested in. He's another one. But the problem with English talent is that the likes of Tyler Dibbling, they play for Southampton. But Tyler Dibbling's market value is 25 million euros. Now, how much is that going to be for Man United? 40, 45 million? That is what it's going to be at the end of the day. They're going to see Man United. Man United are interested in Tyler Dibbling, as is Liverpool and other clubs. Man United are interested in Tyler Dibbling. They're going to charge about 40, 45 million. And it just doesn't make sense for me. I don't think Man United should be going after these players. There's players around the world, in particular in South America, that we can get for 15, 20 million euros. And you know what? We got Dorgu for under 30 million. And look how good Dorgu looks. How much is Patrick Dorgu worth now? Be realistic. How much is Patrick Dorgu worth now? Do you know what I mean? It's very interesting to see. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, yeah. Brighton or Forest will sign him. I will be pissed. Absolutely, mate. Man United need to look at these players, the likes of Benfica, the likes of Ajax, the likes of Sporting Lisbon, Porto. They all have this conveyor belt of players like that, coming through, you know what I mean, or signing. They're ahead of the game when it comes to that. When you look at Licha Martinez, they signed him from somewhere, didn't they? These players, they signed them from somewhere. We have to be there first to get these players. Because if we don't, someone else is going to sign them, and later down the line, they're going to be triple the price. Look at Quenda. You look at Quenda and you think that Ruben Amorim made this player. Quenda is that player. Ruben Amorim made this player. He made him into what he is, the star that he is. 70 million. You know what I mean? 70 million. Now, I hope that Man United are not just signing such players to sell them on for a greater value. I hope that we are concentrating on the long-term ambitions of the football club, which is success on the pitch. I hope that happens. But we do need to look at players from around the world. I believe we're doing that. Of course, I've spoken about many players in South America, in Africa, in Asia, etc. over this last few months, of course. And there is value out there if you look at it. You have to find it, but there is value out there, of course. Danny Bay. Morton, Friendrup and Hayden Hackney would be my third sacrifice after Jassiri. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned Hayden. I haven't mentioned Friendrup yet, but I've mentioned Hayden Hackney, of course, last week. You know what I mean? Long before Alice Talks Football and all that, way before. All right. So I've been mentioning Hayden Hackney. I think I first mentioned Hayden Hackney way back in the summer, if you scroll back. And yeah, another great player who can go for cheap. The problem is that we will face is that a lot of these players, the English players in particular, the British players in particular, will go for more than they're worth. And that is the problem, obviously, going forward. That is the problem going forward. We will have to pay more than they're worth. You know, this is why I don't mind, you know, such players, you know, at the end of the day, such players in regards to Jasari and players like that. Do you know what I mean? This is why I don't mind, because at the end of the day, we won't get ripped off, you know, as much as we would do if we're signing an English player, because English players, of course, you know what, notoriously go for a lot more money. Sal, did you have my on Hackney since last season? Yeah. Sal, I respect your opinion, Danny B. I mean, I go by if Man United want him. You know about him from a long time, Danny B. I know that. Danny B is a legend, by the way, in the chat. Danny B's been here a long time. Danny B's been here a long time. Danny B has been here since the beginning. You know what I mean? When I started doing live content, you know what I mean? And Man United are interested in Tyler Dibbling, of course, and Hackney. These type of players, also Chris Rigg as well. You know, these players, Man United are looking at many of these players. We're not going to get all of them, but, you know, we have to weigh it up how good these players are. And what the biggest question that's going to be put forward is that, you know, are these players going to elevate Man United? That's what we want. We never know, do we? We never know. When we don't know how good these players are going to become. But what we have to look at is that, you know, Arsenal will improve, Liverpool will improve, Chelsea will improve, Man City will improve. So the players that we sign, are they going to elevate us into the next level? Or if not, if we don't challenge or we don't improve, how long are we going to take? Is it going to take for us to improve with these players? Do we have the patience? Do we have the patience for that? Big up Common Pence. What's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Long time no see, Common Pence. Good to see you, mate. I hope you're doing well. One of the other legends, of course, Stretford Post legends, is Common Pence. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're good, my friend. Hope you're good. Of course, Danny. Desire will take us to another level, but our house is on it. But I bet my house on it, Sal. My goodness, Danny B. I mean, I've looked at him, Jasari, because I looked at Jasari online on YouTube because you told me, Danny B. I looked at him. I'm very impressed. I think he's an absolute baller. Absolute baller. And, you know, don't be surprised if we do. I've been told that Man United have over 100 players on their transfer wish list. Of course, we're not going to sign 100 players, but you know what? We have over 100 players on our wish list. I mean, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? Narrowing it down, we got to narrow it down a little bit. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, there is going to be some players that be coming through the door in the summer that you're going to be like, some people are going to be like, who? Not you, Danny B, but some people will be like, who? Who is this guy? You know what I mean? And they're going to be like that. Toxie, what's going on? I hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you. We need to sign Ekitike, De Winter, and Fernandez. Yes, I mean, funny you should say that, Toxie. I don't know if you tuned in earlier on, but I spoke about De Winter. I spoke about Coney De Winter. I spoke about him earlier in the show, Toxie. Earlier this morning, Toxie. Very, very good player. Plays for Genoa. Very decent player, Belgian international player that, you know what, is one of the rising stars in football. You know, central defender, strong, well above his age as well. Ekitike. No, but in regards to Ekitike of Frankfurt is this season, he's become prolific, right? This season, he's become prolific. And as I wouldn't speak about these players this morning and the night yesterday, I spoke about Ekitike. I spoke about him this morning, of course, as well. What I would say about Ekitike is that, you know what, he's not only wanted by Man United, by the way, he's wanted by other football clubs, but he's another one. He's 22 years old and you know what, has a high ceiling. My argument would be, can he make it in the Premier League? Can he make it in the Premier League? In regards to Fernandez, you know, I mean, we've spoken about Fernandez quite often on this show. I agree with Fernandez. I agree with De Winter and I agree with Fernandez because Fernandez is a right wing back, someone who we need, something that we need in this team right now. He's a right wing back. In regards to De Winter, yes, he's a great centre back and I think Man United will thrive with this player. I think he's a good player. In regards to Ekitike, will he improve Man United? Is he capable of getting 20, 25 goals for Man United? Because what we need right now is 20, 25 goals for Man United. Now, we got a Frankfurt guy in this community, of course, Tyberg, of course. He knows all about Ekitike. He's from Frankfurt, Tyberg, and he knows all about him. The problem with Ekitike is because he's going to be wanted by various clubs around Europe, the price tag might be a little bit higher than we'd be willing to pay, of course. I would like to know how many goals, if Chido Obi, for example, was playing for Eintracht Frankfurt, right? How many goals would Chido Obi score for Eintracht Frankfurt, for example, for argument's sake? How many goals would he score? You know, it's interesting, isn't it? Danny B, high fee, another big risk. This is the thing. Yeah, and if you're talking about a Ekitike, this is the thing. We need to get away from the high fees. You know, we can avoid that. You know, Frankfurt purchased Ekitike from somewhere. You know, they scouted Ekitike. They found Ekitike. So why can't we find this type of player ourselves? Why can't we go out there and get that type of player ourselves rather than signing them indirectly from someone else and then having to pay a lot more money, of course? You know, we have to scout more efficiently. And I do think we are. If I was going to praise Ineos, and I'm not in the game of praising Ineos, because what's been happening this last few months, I'm definitely not in the game of praising Ineos. But what I would say in regards to Wilcox, Vivel, and Barada is that they have got their ear to the ground. They are looking around the world for the next best thing and stuff like that. I think even Jim Ratcliffe said that you know what, instead of buying the Mbappes, he wants to find the next Mbappe kind of thing. Now, so far, so good, right? Aiden Heaven, great. He looks like an absolute monster and a really, really talented player. Then you look at Dorgu, great. He looks brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. You know, and so far, so good with the two players that have come in that are relatively unknown, right? Dorgu and Heaven have been our players. So far, the last few games, they've been absolutely amazing. And we miss Dorgu. You know, and every time Dorgu plays, we get that feeling, yes, Dorgu's playing. Yes, we get that feeling, don't we? You know what I mean? No, that's when you know this player is something. Aiden Heaven, like, you know what? 1 million from Arsenal. What a steal, you know. You know, when you feel comfortable with a player, you know, especially as a centre-back, you know, when there's a centre-back and you feel comfortable, you know, with a centre-back and you don't really notice him in the game, but he makes those really important challenges when he's called upon. That is Aiden Heaven. And that is a sign of a quality defender. Honestly, it's like Rio Ferdinand-esque. Do you know what I mean? That type of player, of course. Roy Michael, what's going on, my friend? I'll be doing well. Good afternoon, son, everyone. Sal, why do you think players sign for Man United? Is it the money or the badge or the heritage? It makes you wonder sometimes, God bless. It depends, Roy Michael. I mean, I can't really come out here and say that certain players sign for Man United because Man United's heritage. Some players sign for Man United because Man United's heritage. But what we have to be careful of is this, and I mentioned this a few weeks ago in regards to football heritage, right? If you look at Everton, if you look at Ipswich, if you look at Southampton, they have their own heritage, right? What's that heritage? Failure. Okay, so that failure has been going on for decades and decades and decades. So every new generation gets passed down that failure. Now, Man United are in a precarious position here. We're still winning in cups, but we're becoming very used to not winning the league and the Champions League and things like that. So that can become football heritage, right? Now, it's up to the player if they see Man United from Alex Ferguson or they see Man United from 2013 onwards. That depends on the age of the player as well. Now, Lenny Yoro spoke a lot about Man United and the heritage of Man United. And you know what? He went on TV and he spoke about the history of Man United, as did Xerxes, right? So there are players there, even if they're young, that they still just about understand the heritage of Man United. But that will cut off soon. That will cut off soon. And eventually players won't sign for Man United because they won't believe that Man United are capable of winning leagues and titles and Champions Leagues. You know? I would say that, and I would say that I like to have my glass half full, Rory Michael. I like to say that a lot of these players know about Man United. Some of these players, you know, were very young when some of them weren't born in 1998, 1999. God bloody hell. You know what I mean? When you think about it, De Ligt, I think he was months old. Do you know what I'm saying? And, you know, you look at that, well, it makes me feel really old. But you think about De Ligt wasn't born. Xerxes wasn't born, right? You think about all the players that have come through. Obviously, Aiden Heaven, Collier, and all that weren't born. Do you know what I mean? You think about it like that, guys, and you think that Dalot was probably months old. You know, and you think that they can't remember Man United winning the treble. A lot of these players have probably been told about Man United's history, Man United's legacy, and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And they haven't witnessed it firsthand like players used to. So probably the earliest period, right, that these players can remember is probably the 2007, 2006, 7, 8 time when Man United were successful. So Man United were successful 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. Right, so Man United were successful during that period, right? They lost the league in 2010, I believe. Okay, so about 2006, 7, 8, 9, 13, and 11, right? So Man United were successful during that period. So these players can remember that. But in 5-10 years, no one is going to remember that. All the new players that are coming through are going to remember Man United are a cup team who win the League Cup, who win the Europa League. And this is where we have to change the heritage of this football club now. What's going on? We're going into the wrong heritage. We're going into the Everton. We're going into the Southampton. We're going into the Leeds and stuff like that heritage now. We need to get away from that precarious position, of course, because then people are going to see Man United as failures. You know what I mean? I don't want to sign for Tottenham because Tottenham never win anything like that. Do you know what I mean? That type of thing. Big up SLD, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. These days, they sign United because of nice, comfy wages. Some of them, SLD, some of them do. Like, for example, Xerxes getting 60,000 a week. It's not that much, for example, but he knows about Man United. Xerxes played for the likes of Bayern Munich. Do you know what I mean? He's played for Bayern Munich and he's played for Bologna in the Champions League. He could have played in the Champions League this season, Xerxes, but he chose to come to Man United. There are players who understand who Man United are. There's still that pulling power there. There still is that. But that will disappear very soon. That will go very soon. I guarantee you that will disappear if we're not successful ASAP. Danny B, big up Danny B. I got to give Ineos credit. Their transfer has been good so far. I never thought we could get rid of Anthony. So far, Toxie, we haven't got rid of him, have we? There is rumours about Raul Batiste, not wanting to pay the money for Anthony. They want to get him on loan. You know what I mean? And we got to go away from this. We got to say, look, Raul Batiste, with all due respect, you buy him or nothing. And that is how it should be, in my opinion. You buy him, you want him, you purchase him, or nothing. And that's how I think we should be thinking, of course. We haven't got rid of Anthony yet, Toxic. Let's hope the Batiste come with the cash. I mean, that is the thing, isn't it? They've got to come up with the cash. Are they going to come up with the cash? It's all up in the air. I don't think Raul Batiste is that rich, but you know what? They're gonna have to sell some of their players then, because we can get rid of Anthony. So, someone else will buy Anthony. The way Anthony's playing, I'm sure another Spanish side will buy Anthony. I'm sure they will. We can't send him on loan again. We need the money. Absolutely. Big up, Toxie. Afternoon, Sal. I see Anthony going on loan again next season rather than a permanent transfer. No one will pay over 34 million, 200k a week. It depends how he's doing, Sharp, because at the moment, I think he's doing very well and he has captured the interest of a number of teams in Spain, including Barcelona. The thing is that Man United don't want him. He will be told that he'll be surplus to requirements, so he would have to, take a cut. It's as simple as that. I think Man United need to try and work something out. Man United need to try and make money out of Anthony, because if we carry on loaning him out, all right, and not earning any money from him, his contract is going to run out, and then we're not going to get any money from him. So we're going to have to try and get money from him, regardless, by hook or by crook. I do believe there will be teams out there who will pay the money for him. I know some people think, wow, no way. I think he's impressed a lot of people since he's been in Spain. And I think that, he is capturing the interest of many teams at the moment. Is Batiste in the Conference League, Anthony, with the daggers to Sancho and Chelsea? Oh, yes, SLD. You just given me an idea, my friend. You're giving me an idea. They are in the Conference League, my friend. And Anthony scored the other day, didn't he? They are in the Conference League. And they will probably play Chelsea in the final, I think. And that will be a great final. I would watch that. I would do a watch-along for that one. That'd be absolutely. We do an Anthony watch-along in your Conference League final. Come on, Batiste. They're my second team now in Europe. They're my second team in Europe. Come on, Batiste. Up the Batiste. Absolutely, absolutely. God will be good, Toxie. Absolutely. Big up, Pearl. What's going on, my friend? Big up, everyone. Guess what? Mastel has yet to score for Spurs. There you go. At the end of the day, yeah, I mean, Tottenham argue with their fans more than they win games. At the end of the day, you got Postecoglou, Postecoglou. You got Postecoglou arguing with the fans. You got Tell arguing with fans. Who next? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, oh god, it is toxic. If you think we're toxic, Tottenham Hotspur, probably the most toxic team in Europe at the moment, guys. Absolutely. So I love your reasoning. You make sense every time you speak. You're old school. I like to see. I can remember the United in the 80s. God bless. Roy Michael, thank you so much. I like your comments as well, Roy Michael. Yeah, I just speak from, experience, guys. I've been a fan now for a long time. I just want to see us successful again. I would love Man United to. I love to come on this channel after winning a major trophy. I think the vibe would be so great if I came in this channel after we won a league or we won a Champions League, even a Europa League. I mean, imagine the vibe it would be, if we won the Europa League, and we got the ability to win it, and I really do. If we get through Lyon, we're going to have a few players back as well, which is very, very interesting, of course, because Ahmad is due back at the end of April. We got Mainu, who's due back as well. Mason Mount, of course, is back. There is some things to be positive about, definitely, and if we can get these players back, I think Man United may obviously win the Europa League. If we're going to loan him out again, then it has to be an obligation to buy in the summer 2028. He has 1 year left on his contract. Absolutely, Shah, that is it. If we're going to do a deal, number one, what I would like, Shah, is I would like a compensation fee. So basically, I would want some money from Batiste, like a down payment. I want a down payment for him, and 10 million would do, something like that. And then they have an obligation to buy with no cut-off options, just like, Jadon Sancho. How embarrassing for Jadon Sancho, the fact that he's becoming the first player I've ever known, right, to have an obligation to buy that no one wants him. It's like, you have him. No, you have him. We'll pay you to have him. Please, we'll pay you to have him. It's bad, isn't it? The talent that lad has, the talent that boy has. And you know what? Look at him. What is wrong with Jadon Sancho? I don't know. Big up, Michael. What's going on, my friend? I would sell Lindelof because he is crap. His contract runs out, Michael, in the summer, so I don't think you'll be waiting very long for Lindelof to leave the football club. But Rasmus, that's a different story. I'll keep Rasmus. He scored at the weekend, Michael, if you were watching. Of course, he scored a good goal against Leicester, if you remember, just the other day. Shah, Michael Lindelof is going free, man. Absolutely. Come on, Michael, get with the picture, my friend. Absolutely. Ericsson and Lindelof are going for free. I don't know if anyone listens to me on this show because I've told Michael 4 times now they're going for free. You know what I mean? So we don't need to worry about Ericsson and Lindelof because they're going to be gone. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. In regards to Rasmus, I believe there's a player in there. I do. Guys, I know you're calling me delusional Sal, but you know what? I believe there is a player in there somewhere. And you know what? I've seen those finishes against Leicester before. I've seen them before. Hopefully that could be the spark that ignites Rasmus Højlund. That could be, or it could not. If he goes on another barren spell and doesn't score goals, then I think, you know what, may have to think about moving him on. But the problem is, and the problem that we'll be facing is that Rasmus Højlund will have to go for 42 million plus if we're going to avoid PSR charges, basically. So basically, if he goes for less than 42 million, it will harm our PSR. So it'll give us less to spend in the market. I mean, I look at PSR and I look at FFP and I look at it and I think, what is this doing for football? What is this doing for football? It's not fair, to be honest with you, is it really and truly? You know, it encourages teams to sell their best young players. I just don't think it's a good thing in football. I think we need to move on from PSR and things like that, in my opinion. Definitely. What do you guys think about PSR? Do you think getting rid of it? You know what I mean? Because I just don't think it helps football. I think it makes football less attractive. I do. It makes it more difficult. You have to be a mathematician to know how much we got to spend, how much we haven't, who we need to sell, how much we need to sell them for, etc., etc. It's just games. Where's the game coming to at the end of the day? David Orstein, Sal is Rasmus FC confirmed. Nah, don't be like that. Don't be like that, SLD. when he scores the winner in Europa League final, you're going to be, you know what, Sal? You know what, Sal? You had a point there, Sal. Do you know what? You had a point there, Sal. Absolutely. V, what's going on, my friend? Is that V? Hope you're doing well. Or V33. If it was Woodward, he would have asked for that 2 oldies to sign new contracts and try squeeze 2 million 5-minute sounds out of them. That blockhead. I hope, V, I hope that we have moved on from there. I hope we have moved on from there. I hope Man United have moved on from the times of doing those sort of things, like you say, my friend. V, I am, of course. I hope that we have moved on from those days. Woodward is no longer at the club. Murtaugh's no longer at the club as well. Of course, Arnold is no longer at the club. So I would hope that, and I would expect that Man United have moved on from doing those silly little deals, ridiculous contracts, of course, given to players that haven't earned that amount of money. That is the problem. Players who earn that sort of money should have to earn it. They should have to earn it, in my humblest of opinions. Harder on the small clubs to PSR. Yeah, it's just no point, is it, Danny B? I just don't think there's any point in it. I understand there should be a cap some way. You know what I mean? Players, you should be able to spend like a certain amount when you get there. But you know what? I just don't think that, you know what, it helps football, in my opinion. I think it's had the adverse effect overall. If Adam scores the winner, I'll celebrate Seamus and call him the Danish R9. Oh, my goodness. Remember John Dahl Thomason? The Danish... John Dahl Thomason was Danish. Do you remember John Dahl Thomason? He was a good player. Definitely. Who was the other great? Brian and Michael Laudrup. The new Brian and Michael Laudrup. There you go. Of Denmark. They've had some good players over the years, definitely. I remember some great players who used to play for Denmark. Definitely. John Dahl Thomason was definitely one of them, of course. And the Great Dane, Peter Schmeichel. Let's not forget about the Great Dane, of course, guys. Absolutely. But a lot needs to happen. We will have a busy summer this summer. Definitely. I have no doubt about that. That Man United will have a very busy summer this summer, and players will be leaving, players will be coming in. It will be like Victoria Station on a busy day, you know, at the end of the day. And I say that we will have a busy day, and I will be going live for Here We Goes regularly, probably. And hopefully you guys can join me for that, of course. Absolutely. I just hope these players come back from each other. Toxie, fingers crossed, my friend. Fingers crossed that we have no more injuries. We cannot afford any more injuries, guys. This international break, you know what, is both a blessing and a curse at the same time, because the power is out of our hands. We have to rely on them. We have to rely on the international team, the manager of that international team, etc., and pray that no player gets injured. For goodness sake, I mean, it's such a critical part of the season to have an international games, especially World Cup qualifier as well. I'm doing the World Cup watch along, by the way, on Friday, England against Albania. On Monday, England against Latvia, guys. So don't forget to join me for that. And also, I'll be keeping an eye on the other international games as well. Should be a laugh. And of course, absolutely, let's see what happens. We won't be buying any fancy, expensive summers in the summer. Nope, no, we won't. I don't think we will, unless what I've been told, Danny B, is that if Man United sell Anthony, if Man United manage to get rid of Anthony and Rashford, Man United may reinvest it in an expensive player. That expensive player is not going to be 60, 70 million. That expensive player is going to be 40, 50 million. You know, it's not going to be any more than that. And even that is a stretch at the end of the day. The reason I missed the Leicester City mention, hey, watch along while I was in Blackpool on Sunday, but keep up to ABC website. Absolutely. Big up, Michael. No problem, mate. No problem. Absolutely. No worries, my guy. No worries. I understand, my friend. I understand. But Rasmus scored at the week against Leicester City, just so you're aware. And Lindelof is going for free at the end of the season. So we don't need to worry about Lindelof. We don't need to worry about Ericsson. That is off the books, guys. They're not going to be staying at this football club. No way, no way. Absolutely not, guys. Absolutely. So, I have some great plans. Toxie. So, Sal, what do you think Ineos will do with Shaw this summer? Toxie, you know what? How long is a piece of string? What I would say is that we are in a bit of a pickle, as we would say, because he's not playing football and he's on an astronomical amount of wages. I think he's on 220 grand a week, if not more. And he hasn't played football for months, right? The only time he's ever got himself fit is for England. I think if England had a World Cup tomorrow, Luke Shaw will find a way to make himself fit, right? I'm not saying that anything sinister in regards to that, but I just feel like this is becoming a little bit of a coincidence now. Do you know what I mean? I would say that what will happen most likely is that Man United could quite possibly loan him, with the opposition team having a clause in that loan that they can terminate the loan if he's injured. Probably something like that, because I cannot fathom how any team in Europe, or if not the world, will want Luke Shaw. Of course, people will want a fit Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw fit is a very good player. But right now, who's going to want to risk paying such money for Luke Shaw? The only thing we can do, we can possibly, is put him on a free transfer, right? But even then, you know, we're going to have to pay off his amazingly high and exaggerated wages. Do you know what I mean? And that is obviously a big problem, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So that is a very interesting one to go forward. Of course, Manchester United have Diego Leon and they have Dorgu as well. So Man United and Luke Shaw is going to have an uphill task in getting back into that team, to be honest with you. And his place back into the Manchester United team is by all means not guaranteed. V, what about Cass? Cass is another one which is going to be very difficult to offload. I think the only possibility with Casemiro is Saudi Arabia. Man United and Saudi Arabian club Al Nassr have been speaking, of course, but it seems that Casemiro is very comfortable at Manchester United. Very comfortable at Manchester United. And he doesn't want to leave. He likes Manchester. He's the top earner at Man United. Now, this is where, you know, the likes of Woodward, as we said earlier, the likes of Murta, as you said earlier, V, have messed up. You know, offering these players astronomical wages that they can't say no to. Not only astronomical wages, they're on 4 5-year contracts, you know what I mean, on that wage. I mean, who would offer them that type of wage? No, don't get me wrong. I really like Casemiro. I think he's a generational. I think he's an inspiration, one of the greatest CDMs in history. But right now, I just don't think he has the legs anymore. I think he's finished. I do. I really do. Cash Shaw Mount, they are bleeding the club dry. Absolutely. Absolutely. Free, very, very. I mean, at the end of the day, when I look at Luke Shaw, all those many years ago now, he's missed 5 years of football, guys. 5 seasons. 5 seasons. It tells you a lot about, you know what I mean, him. People like to bring in the fact that he got injured. And yes, he had a very serious injury against PSV all those years ago. But enough is enough now. You know what I mean? If he cared for the club and he didn't care for money, he would look for other opportunities. But I'm beginning to think that him and Mason Mount don't want to play. They just want to take a wage, and they just want to carry on taking that wage and bleeding the club dry, in my opinion. That's how I think. Michael, hopefully let's sell Luke Shaw a free transfer. So we can't just get him on a free, mate. Unless we sell him on a free, you can do that. We can't release him on a free, because if we release him on a free kind of thing, we have to pay his wages off. So we would have to have a team to come in for him, and we let him go for free to that team who are willing to pay his wages. But we cannot release him on a free, because then we will have to pay his wages. And you know what? He's got 2 years left, I think, on his contract, something like that. We're going to have to pay a lot of money. And we all know about Ineos. And this is the reason why we wanted a full sale. This is why we wanted the Glazers out, debt cleared. Is because an entity that bought the full club, paid off the debt, could have paid off these contracts and got rid of these players that have been sitting down doing nothing for years and years and years. It's mad, isn't it, at the end of the day? And, you know, when are we going to start thinking that, you know what, the culture of this football club needs to change? Mason Mount, as you said, Luke Shaw needs to change. This culture needs to change, to be honest with you. You know, sometimes we have been unlucky. The likes of Licha Martinez, the likes of Aiden Heaven, and these type of players, we have been unlucky with injuries. That is a problem. But what I would say is that, you know what, this culture of players sitting down on a high wage for months and months and months has got to change, and Man United need to move on. Our heritage, our culture needs to change at this football club, and we need to be more ruthless now. And hopefully we will. This summer is going to be very, very pivotal in our future. It's going to be incredibly important to Manchester United's future. Manchester United's future hinges on this summer. And Ineos will be on fraud watch. You know, some people say, don't say that word. They will be on full watch. I'm watching Ineos closely, and I'm going to see how they do, because really and truly, I know they had this summer and they did okay this summer, but this summer is the summer. This summer is the summer where they have to bat Ruben Amorim, right? They brought Ruben Amorim in. Ruben know that they forced Ruben Amorim to come during half the season when Ruben Amorim wanted to come next season. They knew that Ruben Amorim had a unique style of football, right? They know that none of these players are his, apart from Dorgu now, right? They knew that none of these players are his, and they decided not to fully back him, right? So this summer is probably the most interesting summer that I think Man United have had in many, many years, guys. Many, many years, I believe. Absolutely. Guys, thank you very much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And please don't forget to smash a like on the video, you guys. You're absolute legends. It is International Week. I will be back tomorrow morning for Breaking Dawn, of course. Guys, don't forget to join me on Friday night for the England game. It is 11:45 kickoff where I am, 7:45 kickoff in England. But you know what? I will be here live. You know, absolutely, I will be. No sleep, no party, of course, guys. Have a great day. Have a great evening, morning, night, wherever you are in the world. And please don't forget to subscribe again and smash a like on the video on the way out, guys. Have a great day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Chatterbox. Take it easy, guys. Peace.